It's now been a little over a month since San Antonio police officer John Lee shot and killed Antronie Scott outside his apartment complex. Scott was unarmed. About 2 weeks ago, Police Chief William McManus contemplated suspending him indefinitely.
Yesterday, he officially stated that would not happen. Today, he sat down with Courtney Friedman to talk about how he came to that decision. So, Courtney, what did the chief have to say today?
Well, Tim and Myra, the chief told me that information that eventually came out in the investigation changed his mind about potentially suspending Officer Lee. One of the main reasons was that he was one of many officers involved in this incident and that he was taking orders that day. Now, this all happened on February 4th when undercover officers with the Repeat Offender Unit saw Antronie Scott outside the Wood Hollow apartments near Isom and East Ramsey. They called uniformed officer John Lee to come arrest Scott. Now, during that arrest, Scott pulled something out of his pocket. Lee thought it was a gun, but it ended up to be a cell phone. Lee ended up shooting one round and killing him. Now, 2 weeks ago, Chief McManus released Officer Lee's contemplated indefinite suspension. That means one of several disciplinary options was firing him. But it was just yesterday that McManus met with Lee and told him he was not going to be suspended. Instead, he'd be sent to the academy for further tactical training.
Looking at how Officer Lee wound up in that situation changed the entire outcome of it. So he wound up in there following directions that were being given, and it was not as I had initially thought. So that changed the whole outcome of the contemplated.
Now, I was not told whether any other officers are going to be doing extra training as well. McManus said Officer Lee showed no malice against Scott, and that was another reason for his decision. He told me this shooting, like all other officer-involved shootings, will be looked over carefully to see if any procedure or training needs to be altered. He mentioned that each case is very different. Now, earlier today, Mayor Ivy Taylor did release a statement saying that she agrees with Chief McManus' decision not to suspend Officer Lee. I'm going to read a part of that to you. She writes, quote, "While I still believe this tragic incident should never have happened, I understand the chief's path on discipline here. I remain committed to carrying out police forms in training that we have begun."